Joining me now is Minnesota Congresswoman and Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate, Angie Craig. Congresswoman, thank you for being in. I spoke with your opponent, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, this past hour. You're considered the more moderate and pragmatic candidate in this race and have been endorsed by a long list of establishment Democrats, including Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. And my question to you is, how does your approach to politics fit into this heated debate over the party's direction? How do you respond to calls for Democrats to embrace a bolder agenda focused on working people and limiting corporate power?
Well, I do think that the frame that we're trying to put many of these races in isn't quite right. You know, my colleague, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez and we came back in 2024 and each ran for the head of committees. I'm now the head of the House Committee on Agriculture. I jumped over more than 20 other Democrats who were more senior in me. I'll put it nicely, and won that top job. So I do think Democrats at this moment in time are looking for people who are not willing to follow the status quo. And, you know, I jumped off the sidelines in 2016 to run for Congress in a district that had been in Republican hands for 3/4 of a century to help us take the majority back. And I know I will help us take the majority back in the United States Senate here in November.
Now, you and Flanagan are aligned on many issues, but disagree on healthcare policy. Healthcare and the cost of living are unsurprisingly top issues for voters. How would you address affordability and the crisis there? And how is your approach different from your opponent?
Well, I think the Lieutenant Governor and by the way, I think it's a great day when two women who have been successful in their own right, the Lieutenant Governor here in the state of Minnesota and myself taking a swing district from a Republican and helping us take the majority. We both agree that we have to have universal health care in this country. We may disagree just a little bit on how we get there. I think voters are really tired of rhetoric that promises the world but delivers nothing. I'm the member of Congress who actually wrote the bill that capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for our nation's seniors. And I believe the next big, bold step is actually to have competition to health insurance companies. Let's have a system in this country that is a public option. Let's let these health insurance companies compete. I call it a Medicare for all who want it. In addition to extending the ACA tax credit, you know, the Trump administration has kicked 17 million people off their health care in just 1 year, cut Medicaid by $1 trillion. I know on day one that I will be effective in stepping in to fight the Trump administration.
Now, immigration is also a top issue in Minnesota. Minneapolis, of course, the site of the administration's most aggressive crackdown where 2 citizens were killed by federal agents. Flanagan has attacked you for supporting the Laken Riley Act, a vote that you say you regret, but you support dismantling ICE. What makes you the stronger candidate to stand up to President Trump's deportation agenda?
Well, I've already been standing up. You know, I've appeared on this network many, many times over the course of the last few months to talk about introducing articles of impeachment against Kristi Noem. I've stood in front of 50 ICE agents with semi-automatic weapons pointed toward me. I've marched the streets of Minneapolis with my neighbors. I've voted against every single bill that tried to fund ICE. I've shown the people of Minnesota what I will do. In addition to that, and you're exactly right, I wrote an op-ed, and I would invite folks to go read it, talking about giving Trump ICE any additional authority was a mistake. It was 3 days into a new administration. It was an absolute mistake. And I will spend the rest of my career in the U.S. Senate working toward comprehensive immigration reform in this nation, including for our nation's dreamers, as well as undocumented individuals who have been here, worked hard, obeyed the law, paid their taxes. It's time for comprehensive immigration reform in our system. We don't have to choose between strong borders and immigration in our country. We can do both.
Now let's turn to tech. The backlash against AI data centers has quickly become a key issue in the midterms. What are you hearing from voters, and what's your position on the issue? Do you favor stronger regulation, or are you more open to market-oriented approaches on AI centers?
I think the federal government has to put very strong restrictions on AI data centers. In particular, no data center should ever increase energy cost for Minnesotans. We should make them either build their own grid or commit that none of my constituents will ever have to pay increased energy cost if they choose to allow a data AI center in their community. And the other issue is water. I hail from the land of 10,000 lakes. These policies in building AI data centers, I think there needs to be stronger regulation on ensuring that these data centers are water neutral. There's technology out there today. And then finally, look, I'm very worried about overall what AI itself does to our workforce. And I helped run a large organization, had responsibility for 16,000 employees, also for figuring out what those jobs were in my organization. I'm looking at the long run. How do we make sure that AI does not take the next generation's jobs? Or if it's going to take certain jobs, how are we prepared to make sure that those skills are developed, trade skills and others, where folks have an opportunity to have a good life and a good job in this country? And I do believe, with respect to the contrast with the lieutenant governor, my 22 years of working in the private sector, only coming into politics 8 years ago, is an advantage in assisting with AI.
You did mention water here at the top as we were talking about that last answer. Minnesota, at least 6 other states reported cyber attacks on their water systems over the past week. Federal investigators believe that Iranian hackers were likely responsible, but they have not definitively determined who's behind them. But President Trump is citing, without any evidence, Minnesota Democrats. That's who he's blaming for the attack. Are you confident the administration is doing enough to defend against foreign attacks on critical infrastructure?
Well, I'm confident that the administration is full of crap when it blames our political leaders here in Minnesota. And I'm very confident that this administration is not doing enough to protect this country against cyber attacks. So, look, we've seen this playbook over and over again from Donald Trump, from J.D. Vance, and don't come after Minnesota because the people of Minnesota will fight back every single time.
Strong words, Congresswoman Angie Craig. I appreciate them. Thank you for your time.